I believe that everyone has a dream and a passion. Now, what's the difference between the two? On YouTube, all over the place, chase your dream, chase your passion. They're used synonymously. But in my book, they're two distinct, different things. So, do you know what your dream and what your passion is? And do you know the difference between the two? When I was a teenager, I would get my 4 hot dogs out of the microwave, I'd put some barbecue sauce on the plate, I'd go into my bedroom, shut the door, and I would dream. I would dream of a day that I was married, that I would come home from work and she would rush up to meet me and embrace me, that I would mow the lawn on the riding lawnmower and she'd bring me a glass of sweet tea, the day that my kids would come up and meet me at the door, Daddy, Daddy, the day that I got to hold my newborn baby in my arms. Those were my dreams. I didn't care about money. I didn't care about success. There was no occupation that I was striving for, an art form that I wanted to achieve. There was nothing. The only thing that I really dreamed about, that I said, this is what I want, is a wife and kids, a family. That's it. And yeah, there were some other plans in my life that I thought I was going to go a certain direction, and I wanted them, but they weren't my dream. That was. And then in 2009, when I got married, that dream became a reality. I married the love of my life, and everything changed because now my dream became a reality, and my dream was selfish. It was on what I wanted. So all the things that I got out of the relationship, I got love. I got to not be lonely anymore. I got something to call my own. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was all the things that I get out of the relationship. There was no face to it. But see, now there is a face to it. Now they're my passion. They're the reason I get out of bed in the morning. The reason I work as hard as I do. The reason why I try to live to a certain standard and set a certain example. Because they are my passion. They're what I'm willing to live for and what I'm willing to die for. That's the difference between the two. Dreams are selfish, and a passion is for others. Or at least I think it should be. I have a motto: life is not about things, but people. And it's not about yourself, but others. So your purpose is your why. And then your dream is your what, and your how, and your when, and your where. That's all the things that you want. So my purpose, my passion for my family, to provide for them. I'm going to say, I'm going to provide for my loved ones. That's my passion. How am I going to provide? That's my dream. Am I going to go to a factory that I hate and barely make enough money and it's like a nightmare every single day? Or am I going to have a job that I actually enjoy, that I make a decent amount of money? Or maybe I'm creatively fulfilled. That's my dream, right? It's what I want out of it. And then the passion is what's most important. And if you can get both of those together, that's amazing. That is where the sweet spot of life. And maybe it's not even a wife and kids. Maybe it's just a humanitarian effort. Maybe it's to provide water to small villages in other countries. Maybe it's to help struggling inner city teens. It's something that other people benefit, and that is why you do what you do, is to help others. God says that the greatest commandment is to love God and to love others. And neither one of those 2 points has anything to do with us or what our dreams are, because those are secondary. Do you know what your dream is? Passion is easy. Passion is people. But a dream, everybody keeps telling you to chase your dreams. What are my dreams? Last 5 years, I've been trying to figure it out. What is my dream? Do I want to be a YouTuber or a filmmaker, or maybe a documentary filmmaker or a commercial filmmaker? Or maybe I am meant to stay in tree work and climb trees and actually run a full-fledged business and start having crews underneath me. Maybe I need to discover a whole new business all on its own. Like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And trying to figure this out, I'm like, what is my dream? And I think I figured it out. There's a movie called Henry's Crime with Keanu Reeves. And in this movie, I think it really highlights what your dream is. That's what the whole central aspect of the plot is. The meaning behind the dream. So Henry was wrongly convicted of a crime. He was a very mild-mannered, timid man, and he got roped into essentially being a getaway driver for robbing a bank when he had no idea what was really going on. And when he got into prison, there was an old man there, and they became friends, and he asked him, "Henry, what's your dream?" And he said, "I don't have one." And then he got out of prison. And as he's looking around, a light bulb went off and he got it. "I know what my dream is." So he goes back to the old man. Spoiler alert. He goes back to the old man and says, "I know what my dream is. I want to rob the bank." They say if you've already done the time, you might as well do the crime. And he's like, "You know what? I've already paid my time for this. I want to rob the bank." And in doing so, he falls in love with this woman, and it kind of complicates things to where by the end of it, it's like he doesn't really want to rob the bank anymore. He just feels obligated because of the other people that he's roped into doing this thing. But when he had a moment with his girlfriend, he told her the reason for robbing the bank, the reason that that was his dream, is because he wanted to take control of his life. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but he was saying how his life was aimless and he just wished that he could jump into somebody else's life. And this was like a defining moment to take ownership, take control of his own life. That's what the dream was. You know, a lot of people, they're chasing after success. They're chasing after money. They're chasing after pleasures. But what are they really wanting? What is the desire behind it? So is the success so you can prove to yourself that you're good enough? Or you can prove to other people that you're good enough? Is it because you want to relish in all the riches and the money? Like, a lot of times when somebody is aiming for something, there's a root behind it. That it's not really the fame, it's not really the success, it's something else. And when you're chasing after your own dream, what do you really want? I realized that my dream is freedom. That I worked in a factory that I hated for 10 years, and I've been in other circumstances to where I wasn't really in control of my life, and I have dreams of what I want to give my family. I want them to be able to travel. I want to be able to give them the things that they want. And I want to not have to break my back my entire life. And I want to do something that is fulfilling. Honestly, one of the things is when I look at my 9-to-5 job, I think, what's the point? What's the purpose other than just making money? If I'm gonna spend so many hours of my life doing this thing, I would rather be doing something that had greater rewards, where there was actual purpose behind the job, rather than just to make a buck. My dream is freedom. Now, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what career path that looks like, and I don't know if I'll ever actually get to that place or if my dream is gonna change, because dreams do change. But at least I know what I'm aiming for. And right now, I don't care about success. I'm not worried about whether I become a successful YouTuber or filmmaker or tree guy or anything else. And honestly, even the title of "Are you a professional?" It's like, a part of me doesn't even care. As long as my purpose gets fulfilled, as long as I'm able to provide for my family, that I'm able to do the things that I need to do. But do I want to have things go the way they are right now forever? Probably not. I want to keep striving for a new goal, a new better. And I am chasing my dreams, but I'm not going to sacrifice my passion, my purpose, my family because of it. And honestly, there's other things even more important. What are we doing for God in our lives? What does God expect from you? What does God want to do through you in your life? And I'm open to that as well. You know what? I might have plans or goals of achieving some form of a career that gives me this type of freedom over here, and God might come up and say, "Hey, I really want you to do this. I want you to have an influence here." And then I'm willing to say, okay, well then that's what I want. Everything is liable to change. The most important thing is your why. Why do I do what I do? What's my passion? Who am I doing this for? Number one, for God. Number two, for others. And others starts with your household. So life is about people, not things. And then once you get the why figured out, the who, what, when, where, that's all selfishly for you. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as it doesn't impede on those other things. But do you know what your dream is? And do you know what your passion is? I've been wanting to make this video for a really long time. I didn't know how to make it interesting or cinematically appealing or a bunch of B-roll for it. And honestly, this is such a broad topic that you might view it differently than I do. You might have a different understanding of life than I do. That I could probably tell this 1,000 different ways to where I really didn't know how to tell this story. But I'm glad that I did. And I hope that you can resonate with it, that maybe you see where I'm coming from. And maybe you have some input yourself. Maybe you have a story. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Like always, work harder and smarter. Stay diligent.